Hello, I'm Dr. Paul, and this is my beautiful wife, Lynn. Today we are going to discuss some issues with bladder and urinary tract issues.
Okay, as you may already know, we have done a video on urinary tract infections, and the formula is called UTI Vag, and basically it was formulated for women. But men and women and pets
Right.
do have, we do need to address having a healthy bladder. So we have a combination of GANs for you with the bladder support. And how are you going to use this? And why are you going to use it? It may occur more in the more aging population, that your muscles may start weakening in the pelvic floor. And for men, it may be that there's more of an enlarged prostate. So in either case, you may start seeing some bladder issues with urgencies to urinate and things like that. So what we did is we put together a bladder relief formula, and it's to go along with being mindful about what you're eating, being mindful about what your overall weight situation is, being mindful about exercises. Because one of the things, if you're dealing with bladder issues, is you don't want to be doing heavy lifting. If you're doing weightlifting, you're going to want to go to lighter weights and more repetitions. And you're going to want to do walking and swimming as exercise rather than something that involves jumping and heavy aerobics. So those are some of the issues to think about. And another thing to think about is, are you getting plenty of fiber in your diet? Because if you're constipated, that's going to create problems for the bladder by putting pressure on the bladder. So that's just one more thing to consider in the overall bladder health. Now, what about animals, Paul? What goes on there?
Well, we have the same issues in animals, and dogs especially, just like in humans. Female dogs have more problems with bladder issues than males do. But in cats, now it's the other way around. Male cats have more issues with bladder problems than female cats do, because cats, for some reason, manufacture a mineral substance in their bladders or it collects in their bladders, comes through their kidneys, that we call bladder sand, and it plugs up the urethra. So keeping a good urine flow going in cats is very, very important, especially male cats, because as they get older, they start to have problems plugging up with this bladder sand. And oftentimes getting a cat's urethra unplugged is a big ordeal. Requires general anesthetic and lots of very delicate work. So we need to pay attention to our pets and watch and make sure that everything's working okay.
Okay, and so what we do when we send the bladder support to you in our good weather, warm door to warm door, as you may have heard me say on other videos, we're going to send you a vial that you can put inside of a clear glass or clear plastic container, or that you can attach to the outside of that container. In the winter time, when we have our 22 below weather here and little glass vials freeze and break, we're going to send it in BPA-free plastic vials. It'll be the same thing. You can put it inside or you can attach it to the outside. Now, there was a question that came up recently about BPA-free plastic, because some of the ingredients that were used to replace the BPA may have their own issues. But we need to address that, Paul, because does anybody ever open this and drink from it?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but they're not supposed to.
Okay.
It's not designed to be drinking that water. This is designed as a battery to, it functions like a battery would function to charge something up. And therefore, you're not drinking the contents of that water that has been exposed to the chemicals in the container, the plastic in the container. So all you're getting out of there is the plasmatic field into the water that you do drink. So you're not drinking any water out of this vial at all. The only way you use this is the plasmatic energy, the plasmatic field that transfers into the water that you do drink. Now, you don't get the BHA or other chemicals, whatever they are,
BHF and BHS.
transferring into your water. All you get is the plasmatic field.
And those plasmatic fields are really designed to help the body come into balance.
Correct.
Okay? And if you're outside of the country, we are going to soak these pads, completely dry them, and then they will be wrapped in a heavy plastic, and they're completely covered with clear plastic packing tape. So they're quite sturdy, and they would go on the outside of your containers. Now, if you want to make some of the bladder water into something that you can pass on to someone else, you can either get the vials or you can make these patches, and I have other videos that show you how to do this. And so, Paul, if I had this and I decided I was going to make sure all my relatives had a nice plasma energy pantry, and I put together 8 or 9 vials and sent it to them, gave it to them, are they all going to be the same strength?
Yes, they will all be the same strength as long as you take them from this, pour some of this water into a little vial, give it to your friend or somebody else, then they can take that vial, put it in a container just like this, and they will have the same thing that you currently have sitting in front of you here.
And can they make vials to pass on to other people?
And that process is duplicatable and repeatable, and it can go on and on.
And there's no expiration date?
No expiration date.
And there was one thing I wanted to show people, because if you wanted to give some immediate support to the bladder area, you might want to put clothing that you're wearing, whether it's underwear or slacks or capris or whatever, and you can put some of this water into your rinse water when you're laundering the clothes. Let it sit there for about an hour and then spin it out and dry it, and that clothing's going to have the plasmatic fields. Now, there's something else you can do if you want to add a little more support, and these don't have to be really huge. These are Band-Aids that were soaked with the bladder support water, and so you could put a pair on the front and one on the back. So do you want to show that on my arm, like if it was a back,
like if this
front and back?
If this is the front of your body and this is the back, it doesn't matter where the single one goes, but it can go right on in the front. And then the double one which has twice as much plasmatic energy in it, would go opposite it on the back.
And so you can see that there's front and back. So size really doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter in this case. And this creates a plasmatic gradient that strives to balance the energy between the two areas of plasmatic field to create a balance in between, and that's what brings balance to the bladder, which is sitting between these two.
Okay, and so these are fabric, by the way, the fabric Band-Aids, and you just wear them 24/7, and when they fall off, you put on another one. So you can make up a whole batch of them and just set them like I've done and put them in a plastic baggie. But that makes something convenient to assist with the energy fields in.
Right.
So, okay, and is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
That's about it? Okay. Well, thank you very much. You can find out more information about all our products if you go to the shop page on our website and then pick products. And there's videos that we're putting up about all the products. And that's at plasmaenergysolution.com. And you want anything else there?
We just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you feel you've gotten any value from it, give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and relatives. We thank you very much. We appreciate your time.